Go live.
Just do it.
We'll do it live.
Oh, that's the wrong screen. Hey, enjoy Aloy. That's the right screen. Sorry about that.
Oh, sweet baby Jesus.
I didn't have Discord open. Well, I had it open, but I didn't have it on the right monitor. So it was just my Horizon Forbidden West background. So there are worse things.
That's why we're talking about Ranch.
So anyway, welcome everybody to the stream. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Just a little bit of housekeeping. For some strange reason, the powers that be at the Purple streaming service, where we are live right now, kept on rejecting my attempt at uploading a pre-recorded episode last week. So that episode will be or is exclusively available over on the YouTube channel. So just search for Roll For It over on the YouTubes. And you'll see it there, Campaign 3, Episode 13. Yeah, so if you didn't see it on the Twitches, it's over on the YouTubes, or it will be very shortly. So Heather, thank you so much. 62 months in a row. I appreciate it. So yes, we are back. It is a Monday night where we sort of somewhat belong. There is no rhyme or reason.
I've just been subscribed to his channel for 62 months.
Yes.
That's what
5 years.
Yeah.
Try not to sub on the way to the parking lot. Like,
try not to sub to any Twitch channels on the way to the parking lot.
No, I'm loyal. That's just one.
Yeah. Your loyalty is.
Oh no!
Yeah, no. Just
the gift card will arrive shortly.
Yeah.
I didn't even play.
Did he say making fuck?
Sorry.
And he's dead.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry.
We didn't watch. We didn't watch Mallrats. We watched Dog
Clerks.
So Clerks. That's what I meant. Sorry.
My love for you is ticking clock berserker. Anyway, all right, so we are back.
I did watch Mallrats with them though.
Yeah.
Mallrats is a. All right, focus.
Welcome
That's
to
what I was
Movie
thinking.
Club.
She said focus. Whatever. Anyway, sorry. All right, we are here. This is Campaign 3, Episode 14. We are calling this campaign, or I have dubbed this campaign, Wild Magic Time, because it seems like that's where we are. So thank you so much for joining us. Again, if you missed last week's episode, it is up on the YouTube. Hopefully the rest of these episodes will continue to be VOD on Twitch. That one was just a bit of an anomaly. So yeah, a little bit of a recap where what we covered last week. After visiting a couple more shops in the city of Alfeld, you eventually found yourself over at the Lost Relic. Having explored some of the books and wares that were available there, you met Eldon, the keeper and owner of the Lost Relic, and his cattery of a security system that was wandering in and out of the various rooms, book nooks, cases, etc. After spending some time looking through some books, exploring around a bit, you did reconnect with Neva over in one of the reading areas of the room, where he kind of filled you in on some of the research that he has continued to do, including some very specific research that was, or that he believes is tied to a variety of archfey that he was sort of looking into and exploring more about, and a possible tie to what's going on with these mushrooms that have been propagating around in now more than one town, and with some varying degrees of chaos and general fuckery. He specifically mentioned to you Puck, the Green Jack, I believe Rindle of the Thousand Faces, and Artagan were the ones that he had mentioned to you as some of the ones that he was investigating. And as you asked a couple of questions and got
Green Jack too. Did you mention Green Jack?
Yes, Green Jack, sorry. And after continuing to ask some questions and looking about a bit, Horkran kind of wandered off on his own to do some exploring, followed by some of the rest of the group. And you guys did discover a bookcase that when Trigger does move on its own, and you found out that that is the home to this sort of underground kind of club slash gambling den of iniquity that you've heard so much about from a couple of different people. And when we left off, you had reconvened in the main hall of the Lost Relic with the plans of returning later in the day. We had said it was just after lunch at this point in time when we had left off. And so we will pick back up right in that moment. So you find yourselves still standing inside of the Lost Relic. There's one or two cats that are still kind of slinking about. Eldon is back behind the counter, going through some books and making some notes and writing some stuff down. And I will pass the game back over to you to pick up in that moment. So, in that moment, the game is yours. What would you like?
I'll be asking them if they have any books on Goliath music.
Well, we might. We do have an entire section on the arts that you're welcome to browse if that's what you want to do. There's all sorts of books on music and various instruments, and most of the arts that are known to both common and uncommon man. So right over here, and he kind of points to a little area off to his immediate left-hand side. If you'd like to explore, you're welcome to do so.
Well, thank you. I'm gonna wander on over there and just start perusing the books, looking for anything like Goliath music. And if I see any books about viols, I will stare longingly at it.
Okay. So make make an investigation check for me, please.
Oh, this is gonna go great. All right, 17. That was
17.
almost 3.
Okay.
No.
So you find a couple of different books, right? You find a few books about stringed instruments in general that have sections about the viol and some of its companion and sister instruments. When it comes to Goliath music, you do find a book that is it's kind of about it's about like tribal music and music outside of what it would call outside of what it would call like the noble arts. And there is a section that is specifically about Goliath music, and it's very sort of it's very kind of percussion heavy. It's described to you as very percussion heavy. Its primary use was for, as like a rallying cry or used in war as an intimidation tactic. And, some of that kind of jives with what you know and grow up with, but you also know that that's not exclusively it. But this book clearly is written from a perspective of people who don't know the music well.
Okay. Hey,
does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. Hey, Mr. Bookman, how much is this one?
I mean, quite honestly, you're probably the only one that's ever asked for that book, so 5 silver pieces and it could be yours.
5 silver pieces it is. I'll just pull them out, take them on, and go trot off to a corner to read for once.
It's like, would you like me to wrap that for you up? Make yourself comfortable. So you all see Thradal like go. He disappears for a few moments and then like comes scurrying back with a book in hand and viol in the other, like, and finds a comfy seat to sit down in.
Yeah, I would like to walk over to Squally.
Hi.
Hey, Yeah, what are we doing here?
I'm coming back later.
Yeah,
didn't plan
did
on-
we even ask like if the guard was around or anything here? I mean, we got some info from Neva, but like feels mostly wasted, right? So far.
Yeah, this seems kind of like a dead end.
Well, I mean, she said that didn't they say that maybe she'd be here later?
Well, yeah, I mean, regardless if anything's going on here or not, it's got to happen at night.
Yeah, so I think that we should probably get out of here. But I'm
He's
definitely
reading
coming
now.
back.
Kind of wasting time.
Yeah, a little
I
bit.
feel like that's what we got to do for the day anyway, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Where are we gonna go next though?
So, just as a reminder, the only place that you had kind of checked off on your list, and you might have this written down, so I apologize if I'm repeating anything. I think some of you had expressed interest in going over to Tala's area. Otherwise, you kind of had the town to yourself for at least a few hours. Like I said, it's just after lunch, so this place kind of turns over and unofficially opens around sundown. So you're not talking about a lot of hours. It's just a couple of hours to kill.
So here's my thing, right? Like, it's not
Talk
that
to
big
me.
of a town. It's not that big of a town. Anybody who's got something to hide, it's either going to be really obvious or it's not happening in town. Maybe we take a walk.
yeah, I like
Yeah.
that
One
Where?
time for a walk.
because nothing happened last night. Even like bird guy came down.
I mean, a good place to start is always the scene of the crime.
We can go talk. Okay, yeah. Yeah. I mean, y'all tell
Tell us
me.
about this bird guy.
Yeah.
They had whatever they were looking for from the cart, they had to take it somewhere. Maybe we can start at the cart and figure out where they took whatever they took.
Right, or figure out what they took to start with, maybe.
Or who knows what we might find along the way.
Maybe they didn't take anything because they couldn't find what they wanted.
Right.
Also could be true. But hey, it's a place to start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we never really did thoroughly search it either, right? Like,
I did.
there could be something around.
I looked
I
in
mean,
there.
I was admittedly incredibly drunk.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
We know.
Thanks, Mom. You're always looking out for me.
No, I meant we knew he was drunk.
Oh, I thought you said you knew I was not drunk.
Maybe I knew both. Who knows?
Communication.
But
All right.
I agree, though. It's better than sitting here while we got daylight on our side. Might
Yeah,
as
let's have a
well.
walk. Let's go check it out.
Let's have a walk.
Okay.
We should
Hey.
ask before we leave. Nobody asked while I was talking to Neva, right? If the guard was by here. I know we asked the other shop if the guard was around, but when we were asking about the potions.
Again, I can't remember his name.
I don't
Eldon.
think he did.
Eldon.
is the proprietor of the Lost Relic.
Yeah, we're in the Lost Relic. And I'm saying, Eldon. Eldon.
Yeah. Yes. Sorry. I was cataloging. Yes. Sorry.
Sorry, one more question. Was the guard here last night looking for like asking any questions maybe this morning about somebody going missing?
Not that they've made their way here yet. No.
Okay.
Do you know Laura?
Sorry, guys. I need 1 second. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's a really weird way to put it.
Sorry about that. Just something popped up that I had to address real quick.
Fucking light bulbs.
At least it wasn't a German light bulb.
Uh,
Why do they have to
so
German?
you had
Well, what else would be?
The light bulbs are German. This doesn't make any sense.
Well, today you were dealing with German light bulbs.
If everything I said had to make sense, I'd be a quiet person indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Matt, are
so-
you okay with the fact that you walked away and came back to
I
this?
know. I'm not on so many levels, but that's all right. All right. So you had asked
Guys, look! I found a book.
We were calling for Eldon.
Yeah. So you had asked Eldon if the guards had come by. He had said, or I think I had gotten out the fact that
No, we were trying to get Eldon's attention.
okay.
No,
So
no, no.
that's
I
where
got
we were
his,
going there.
I got his attention and I asked my question.
Right, and he said that no, they had not come by.
Okay.
No guards.
And while that's going on, Threadle is like, guys, look, I got a book.
It's
I
about
just walk up
music.
to
Yeah,
Eldon.
cool. Bring it with you. Let's
I
go.
will. I bought it.
Yeah. This is not a sit down and read day. We're gonna walk around.
Yeah.
Hey,
It's
Eldon.
also pretty interesting that nobody literally came to this place. There's only a handful of shops in town. They stopped at a couple places, but not everywhere. It's a little weird, but we'll see later.
There's also a thing about like the one place in town that you kind of let things happen, and that sort of creates its own set of rules.
Agreed.
So a lot of the times, the things that you don't want to have happen don't happen. So the things that they don't want to have happen that do happen there.
Say happen one more time.
The
I
whole
need
time
you
you
to
say that, I'm just staring.
re-explain
Like,
that
I
whole
understand
thing.
exactly what he says.
Elrond just looks at all of you, starts
You
to.
say Elrond?
Elrond?
Sorry.
Hello, Scientology?
Eldon,
Is that in the
sorry.
chat?
Looks at
I was
all
like-
of you.
Like, are we from
Yeah, you're suddenly in Rivendell. Looks at all of you. Kind of reverts into the cat form that you had seen him do once before, and just like scampers away.
Ha! I knew they were magic.
Why?
Well, now I can't ask him if he knows Laura or if he can find
Yeah,
healing
damn
for
it.
me.
I think we're all right. I
Did
think
all the
we-
cats look the same, by the way, or was there
We're
any
gonna-
way to differentiate?
No,
them?
they all looked like fairly generic, like medium-haired black cats.
Right. Okay.
We're gonna come
Well,
back
I put
here.
a book on one then.
We're gonna come back here later, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Maybe when he's distracted, he might tell us something that he wouldn't tell us when he wasn't distracted. So
Do we need to create a distraction?
no, I mean like later when there's a lot going on.
But I like the
I did too,
enthusiasm.
though.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. All right.
All right.
And I'm gonna look at you and talk in your head and be like, focus. And any distractions needed, I will tell you in the noggin.
Okay.
All right.
Say it out loud.
So you guys are heading back to the cart. Is that what's happening?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Okay. So, you start to make your way back towards the cart. Through the city streets. The streets are bustling at this time of day. You could see both shopkeepers, in and out of their shops, trying to draw people in. You could see just townsfolk, shopping and going out about their business. There are workers that are coming home from an earlier shift, and there are some that are getting ready to go into like a second shift situation. You could see kids playing in the streets, and before too long, you do make your way back to the Candle Glow where the shop where the cart was parked.
Do we see, as we're kind of going around, I know a lot of faces are new to us, but is there any other traffic coming in, new people passing by, kind of like how Alora would before, stop in for a day and then leave? Is it common town like that?
So what I would say is you haven't been here long enough to really pick up on who would be new and who would be a regular. But
Yeah.
there are people that seem to be coming and going out of the main city gates at any given point in the day. And again, some of those people are likely just workers going off to fish or farm.
Yeah, or they have a little cart with them
Right.
or something.
Right. So, you know,
Okay.
you see it's certainly not closed. Like it's not a closed gated community kind of situation. It's an open
Yep.
it's an open town. So people coming and going. And just what you know about it, right? It is kind of like a stopping point along this main road that runs through the Empire. So yeah, people come and go.
Are there any new beggars?
I would say like midday where you are right now, probably one or two of the same ones that you've seen before, but not any new faces.
Same townies. Got it.
I would like to look around on the ground and see if there's anything like that looks like it was spilled from like the cart. Because we're at the cart, right?
Well, you're currently making your way back to the cart, but yeah,
Oh,
at this
okay.
point you are at the cart, I would say.
Okay, we're at the cart. So is there anything like, I don't know, that was dripping as somebody
Yeah.
walked away
footprints
with
or
it?
anything like that. That's a good point.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, we could I would also like to like look around, like from where we're at, from where the cart's at. Is there like wooded area away from town center that could be an alternative escape route?
So the way that the town is sort of laid out, the bulk of what you would see in terms of, sorry, I'm just trying to pull up my map of Allfield, which for some reason I seem to have lost.
I can't wait to find out she just took
yeah.
a mushroom thing and then just
Yeah.
disappeared.
I swear to God, if
so
she's on a fucking trip.
The way the town is laid out towards
Praise in the forest spirits.
towards the northern part of the town is where there is like this wooded area that is within the confines of the city gate itself. It's not like a heavy sort of thicketed area, but it is sort of the most rustic part of this town proper, towards the north, past like the Lost Relic, past the Feed and Mead, up towards that area.
Okay, okay. Right. I mean, we might be thinking about this all wrong, y'all.
I mean,
Yeah.
not gonna lie, really feel like we're running in circles.
We might be.
And,
Are there any like footprints or anything on the ground? Like is potions?
Oh, I'm
that
sorry.
been
What
spilled
was
out?
your investigation check, Horkran?
I didn't make one yet.
Make an investigation check for me.
All right. Ooh, yeah, 22.
All right. So, even with the 22, what I would say is that as much time has elapsed, as many people are in the street, just in general, walking about, it's really hard for you to sort of discern anything that was, or, you know, it's like you see plenty of footprints. You even see some debris and litter on the ground. I will say, though, that you find like one or two like broken glass like potion jars not too far from the cart, maybe within like 15 feet or so of the cart.
Guys, come here. There's glass over here. There's broken stuff over here from the cart. We should go this way.
It's a rated potion cart.
Yeah.
Is-
Well, do
is-
you have a
is-
direction to go in?
That's an excellent rebuttal that I don't have an answer to.
And honestly, it's exactly what we came here looking for.
If we're gonna go in circles, we might as well do it around the outside of town. Might find something else in the woods.
I mean, and there's that lady that lives out there, kind of like next to the woods out here.
You think
Yeah.
she's got some wild garlic growing out there?
God.
I mean, anything's possible.
It is the
Does-
season.
And does she speak with a Zimnian accent?
Are you actually going back to the cart itself, or what are you guys doing?
I'm gonna go from the cart in the direction of the broken stuff that I found,
Okay.
and I'm just gonna keep going until I hit the woods. That's my plan.
Okay. So you kind of so you temporarily go back behind the candle glow to where the cart was parked. You go to the cart after like sort of walking around the perimeter of the cart some more. You do find a bunch of broken glass vials, and you continue to head just back out towards the main road, essentially kind of where you came from. I will say without another roll, because your roll was so high, that like at some point in time you come across what looks like a leather jacket of a book, but there are no pages inside, almost as though it was probably wrapped around another book, and this maybe fell off or came off, in the mix.
So I'm gonna pick it up. Just gonna pick it up and be like, guys, look at this. Look what I found. I bet if we brought it back to Eldon, he might know what it goes to. There might be a book that like somebody borrowed or something.
We might be able to Occam's razor the shit out of that question.
Horkran,
and just keep following it anyway.
Horkran, as you kind of look over this leather jacket on the book, you do notice that like there is some sort of like language that you don't recognize written in this dark, deep blue ink on the inside of the inside of the jacket, right? So it kind of opens up. It looks like it's got little folds where a book would slide into it, but there's this really deep, dark blue ink that has like just maybe 3 or 4 words kind of written out. It's kind of hard to tell because you don't read the language, so it's hard to see like where it breaks or where it doesn't break.
So as I see her looking at the book like that, I'm going to ask her if I can see it. Because I might be able to take care of that. I can read a lot of different things.
Okay.
Here.
I literally
Just
have
hand it
Eyes of
over.
the Runekeeper, which says you can read all writing.
Okay.
Ooh.
I was going to say, I know
Well,
I know a lot
see.
of languages, but all right.
All
That's a couple.
Fine. Here you go. Just handing it off.
Yeah. Like, so if she hands it to me, I'll try to read it and see what the words are there.
Okay. Are you going to try to read it out loud, or are you going to try to read it to yourself?
No, I'll read it. It feels like a setup, but I'm gonna
That
read it out
sounds
loud.
ominous.
Yeah, I was
No,
gonna say.
it's really just how you want me to convey to you what it says.
No,
I can
Iju
send
would
you.
do that.
I-
Iju would do that.
100%,
Totally
I would
read it
just
out
read
loud.
out loud.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
like meta, I'm about to do some spelling
Leptoverata
incantation.
Nicto.
Klaatu, Verata. All right.
Yeah, I would read it. I would read it out loud.
Yeah. So, upon closer look, you do notice that it is 4 separate words, but 2 of the words repeat, and they are capitalized. And what it says is Gilak the Great, Gilak the Wonderful.
Galak?
Yeah, Gilak.
Interesting. So this guy, though, was not one of the ones that we just heard about.
You've never heard that name before.
Why
Did you
use
just
it?
say that out loud?
Yeah.
Yeah, he said that out loud, Horkran.
Does
I'm panicking in character.
his ability, like, does Iju's ability let you know what language it is, or just that you can read it?
It's one of my Eldritch invocations. So instead of like bolstering spells and stuff, I literally took that. Eyes of the Runekeeper. You can read all writing.
No, I
don't
know.
know if it tells me what.
But it
language
doesn't
is.
identify the language that it's
That's
in.
what I wanted to know.
Just
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you
know
can
what
read
it
it.
says.
Yeah, just that.
I mean,
you
I
can
took
read
it thematically because I've been reborn a million times,
Yeah.
so it made sense to me. But yeah, it doesn't identify what it is.
Do
It
me a
doesn't
favor.
say.
Make a history check for me. Iju.
History. That's not too bad. Oh Jesus Christ! Nat 1 for a 4.
Yeah.
So
So
All those memories kind of blending together right
yeah,
now.
I can read it.
It's a
you-
book.
It's a book.
you feel like you recognize some of the formulation of a few of the letters, but it's not exactly to anything you recall, like one to one. So it might be like a variation on a language that you would more easily recognize, or like a dialect of a language, or perhaps it's like, the equivalent of like Old English to Middle English, like that sort of situation.
All right, let me look at that.
Hey, hold on a sec. Porkring. Didn't you get turned into a kid by this dude?
Yes.
Oh,
Oh, that's why you're panicking.
all right.
Give me that. Give me that stupid book cover. Let me see if there's fucking snails on it and shit. I hate this guy. Give me it. He likes
Wait.
snails. Are there snails on there too that I missed?
Wait,
What?
hold
What's
up.
with the snails?
Wait, what's
He
going on?
likes
Galact?
snails.
This is the
Galactic
name.
Great, Galact the Wonderful is what it said.
Galactic the fucking piece of shit.
I'm gonna pretend there's a table and do this in midair and just do this.
I swear to God, if he's
the
part of
guy.
this, I'm gonna kill him.
This is the-
I'm gonna fucking rip his ass apart.
Hey, Horkrin, do me a favor.
Yeah.
Roll a percentile die for me.
Instantly banned from Twitch.
Right.
D100. $99.
99. So all of you watching Horkrin go through this like emotional outburst and like, give me the
Fucking
book, are there
trouble.
snails, and like all of this stuff, as Horkrin is like vocalizing this and screaming it, you can hear his voice start to deepen just a little bit, and he starts to
Horkrin's
like
voice?
yeah, and
Yeah.
he
Okay.
starts to like grow a few inches. And you could see like some of the definition and the muscle on his arms and shoulders start to like fill out and broaden a little bit. And as you start to come down from that high, Horkrin,
Yeah.
you realize that you've just gone through like a growth spurt in the matter of like moments. Like that emotional break pushed you into a growth spurt.
So your
Anyone else see
your
that?
pants aren't even gonna fit now.
So like
Look at how big you are.
Fuck.
you're closer to like you're closer to like a 13-year-old now as opposed to like a 7-year-old.
Yeah. We're
Did
gonna
anyone
go
Going in his
Anyone
back.
else see that?
backpack.
and
My
your
little
pants
my little sunflower's growing up.
What the
Yeah.
hell just happened?
right in front of our eyes.
Why
Mhm.
did
What's
cursing
that?
make you taller?
She was so
Maybe someday I'll be
emotionally
taller
angry.
than you.
I mean,
Is
they
that a
grow up
satyr
so
thing?
fast these days, but
I know. You're making me
Just
feel
throw it
old,
in
kid.
Backpack.
You're making me
Just
feel
start
old.
digging around. Yeah. Well, Mom.
emo
Let's
haircut.
hope. Yes.
It's emo
Well, a
Groot.
couple of mustache hairs are starting to grow in. You know.
Oh my God, you're Luke Bernardo. Okay, go ahead.
No.
No.
So
You know what I'm talking about? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
So Horkrin, what I'll say for you too is that you've kind of gone through these random aging and de-aging scenarios before.
Yeah.
They haven't always been quite as like dramatic or instantaneous, but this sort of like strong emotional reaction seems to have triggered it.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm digging around in my backpack, and don't worry, Mom. I'm gonna have pants soon. I hope. I just start digging around because I do actually have clothes in my backpack. Let's see
I
if these
mean-
pants fit.
Wait, you've just been carrying those around in case of emergency?
No, I've been
Hey,
carrying
Rob,
them
what's going
around
on?
so that
Welcome to the stream, my friend.
I get,
She was too
that I get
tiny.
pants for when I grow. I knew I needed pants again someday.
Wait, you already had pants that were bigger than you were. Wait,
Yeah,
what?
they were like as tall as me.
You couldn't wait. How much did you grow? I thought it was only a couple inches.
Well, I went from like 8, 9
7
years
to
old to
13.
Yeah.
yeah.
Can you make your voice crack at all?
We don't
I
want
don't know if I'm that good.
god.
Right now, I'm just trying to keep it in like the lower end of my current
Yeah.
actual range, so that when he grows and I have to like talk like this, like when he becomes an adult.
Sweet man voice.
Whoa.
Yes, my super sexy man voice.
What's up, hot cheeks?
I'm Big Gay Al. I'm a big gay
Mom.
lion. Roar.
Roar.
All right, sorry.
I
Stop
swear to
yelling
God,
at me.
I won't do
God.
that.
Oh no.
All
Big
right.
Al.
All right. So you're holding this jacket. You're looking at the writing. You now know what it says, although you don't recognize it yourself. But you now know what it says. You've just gone through this growth spurt. There are no snails or anything like that on it. Other than the language itself, there is no other indication or tie to Gilak. Just that his name appears in the book, and obviously you have a visceral reaction to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably not a bad idea to keep this. Maybe ask later since we're going to be back there anyway.
Yeah, he's a warlock or a wizard, so like be on the lookout. Maybe he's probably drunk too, like he was when he lost his cards to me.
Would Gilak have anything to do with the cart being knocked over?
Maybe. He is a magic user, but he's not exactly a nice person.
Sounds like the kind of person we would find at the Lost Relic later.
Good, I'll
Could you
kick his
imagine
ass
if
and take his
Gilak was
goddamn
there?
name.
I
What-
mean, if you don't recognize this language, this has got to be like.
Can I look
crazy
at it?
old.
Can I look at it
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll
See if I-
pass it
and
over.
s-
Like,
and just see if I know it? But I
What-
probably don't.
What languages do you know?
Common, Elvish, Primordial, Curie, and Sylvan.
Sylvan? Make a history
hey.
check for me.
History check. Wow, I got through all those like names like
also
with
have
the
Sylvan.
accent. I was into that. All right.
Nailed it.
Oh, my history is 0. Okay.
Didn't pay
Ouch.
attention in school.
Yeah.
Sounds about
Hey,
squally.
Natural 20. It doesn't matter.
Nice.
Are you serious? Natural 20?
Yeah. All right. Look at that shit right there.
So the letters actually to you look like a combination of Sylvan, but not but it looks like it's variations on it, right? But there's also a second language mixed in there. Like the letters are not from the same alphabet that you recognize. Some of the letters you recognize as being how they would be handled in, Sylvan or some dialect thereof, and some of them you don't know. So like you recognize the G and the K, but nothing in between.
Okay.
Right? You recognize again the G in the word great, but you're missing a few
The
of
rest of
letters
it,
out
yeah.
there. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Like, so this is some kind of, I don't know. There's like, it could have been Sylvan at some point, but then it like took a hard left.
You mean like Gilak's sanity?
Okay. Sure. I don't know. I just. What? So he likes snails and he
Yeah.
gets drunk.
Yeah.
Anything else? Like,
Yeah,
You hadn't
who is
really
this
talked ab-
Gilak
yeah.
character?
you
He
didn't really.
gambles. He likes to gamble. That's how I
What?
met him.
What is he?
He's, I think. Okay, hang
What
on.
does he look
I
like?
forget if he's human or not. I'm pretty sure he's human. Like,
I
out of character.
I don't think you actually gave that
I don't-
information to me.
Did I not?
No,
Okay,
his
I don't remember
race,
if I
you did
called him a
not.
wizard or a warlock either. I think it
I
was
mean,
warlock.
This
is
bodes
it-
well.
you guys are warlock. Well, I mean,
On the scale of
You did
God
refer to him as a
just
warlock.
some guy.
Warlock. Okay. He looked human. And he's a warlock. And he likes to gamble. He likes to play cards. And he likes to fucking lose at cards. And he likes to drink.
Does he like to lose at cards?
I was
Well, he
thinking
sure
that.
as shit did to me.
He liked it.
I liked it.
Yeah. Okay. So you can't project your feelings onto other people.
He
It's
lost.
not how this works.
He lost enough, Mom.
No, that was good though.
All right, and so that's all you know about him. There's nothing else.
So this is just
He's
some
got like a
vindictive
daughter who
asshole
got
that
married
lost the cards?
recently.
He has
Wait,
a
what?
daughter who got
Like-
married recently. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, hang on. Let
Okay,
me
but
think
see
about
now,
this.
now he's like,
What does this have to do with mushrooms and a missing person?
I
Because
know.
he's a magic user. And a dick.
Well,
So-
dramatic
convinced.
pause there.
If we run into him, what's the likelihood we're gonna end up in prison?
Oh, I don't think you'll end up in prison.
I'm not going to end up anywhere. It's going to be that one.
He's really sloppy drunk though, so like
Wait, so that means I'm going to have to talk to him.
Wait, what? Why? Why are we involving this person? What does this have to do with what's going on?
because he
Well,
turned
look.
me into a child.
I wouldn't think it was something important, and I'd be like, okay, we'll get your vengeance later. But we have found this on the way away from the cart.
He could still be involved. Last time I talked to him, he was shopping around for books. And you don't just lose your diary cover
But
unless you're a dumbass. Loses it
didn't
cards.
he lose his diary cover right here?
Like she said, or like he said, unless you're a dumbass.
That's
Like a dumbass.
another excellent rebuttal.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you got a point.
So I'm just saying, like, it's an odd coincidence.
I mean, we've checked.
Also, don't
Ki-
forget Horkrin. Don't forget, like, in addition to this, now there also was the kid who just like randomly knew your name and then like.
Oh my
banked out.
god, if that child is fucking
So,
working for him, I'm gonna
Like,
kill him.
yeah, you've got some stuff going
He's
on.
gonna
here.
become the next fucking stain on the ground.
You,
You
Whoa.
need to- okay,
okay, that went 0 to a
Wow.
lot.
you're a teenager now, all right? And I'm going to need you to start taking more responsibility for your anger. All right?
I don't know how to control it all yet.
Well, as your mother, I'm telling you how to act.
The first step
Hormones, I
is
don't
not
know,
to
it's gonna
threaten to
kill
kill
everything.
everything that crosses your path.
Hey, here's the thing. All right. Let's make this deal right now. If we come across this guy, you got to chill and not immediately try to kill anybody.
So what you're saying is that I have to be sneaky about killing him.
Yes, but maybe after I talk to him a little bit and see why his fucking book cover's so close to the cart.
Okay, I'll let
Okay.
you talk to him first,
All
and
right.
then you can tell
This
me
is a
with your
big
mind
if.
link, Mom. Your mind link. Just let me know when I can go at him.
This is a big if.
Hey,
though,
Iju, what's
'cause
your passive perception?
Who?
me?
Iju.
Egypt.
My passive perception is 12.
Okay.
I miss Sindri.
As all of this like conversation is going on, Iju,
Mine's 15.
you catch a second glimpse of the Arakakra that you had seen the night before,
Okay.
like flying from the feed in mead back towards like where you are, overhead and outside of Allfield, like
Okay.
seemingly leaving the town.
So as they're talking, when I would see that, then I would point up to it and say, "Bird guy, bird guy." And just point up to the air.
I would
Oh,
look.
that's really cool.
Huh.
What are
They're
they
pretty
doing
t-
around?
I don't know, but he came last night.
Never made out with a bird before.
What?
Mom, if
Nothing,
I have to keep it in
nothing.
my
I didn't-
pants, then
They
you
don't
have to
have
keep it in your
lips.
pants.
I didn't say anything weird.
But
Oh, okay,
I
good.
did.
so that's he wasn't even here all day because he just came overnight and then leaving now. So
Well-
just something for to keep in mind.
All
Might
right.
not be anything.
Well, we wanted to do something.
We gotta
with
go
the
there
feed
anyway,
and
though,
mead
don't-
tonight, didn't we?
Don't you got to check the mail?
We do at some point, but
Yeah.
we could also go to the woods if we want while we got some time.
Let's keep going into
We
the
wanted
woods.
we wanted to go to the feed and mead tonight so I could play some music and try and distract people, didn't we? So someone could case the joint.
Yeah, but then I think I don't know. Some interesting
So,
stuff started happening.
All right. So the layout of the town, just to remind you guys the layout of the town, right? There's this one main road that kind of leads up through the center of town. Where you are right now is heading back towards the Feed and Mead. Past the Feed and Mead is the Lost Relic. Past the Lost Relic is the wooded area, right? So you could theoretically make stops along the way. Obviously, you would pass Mila's place and the Pestilent Tent and all that other stuff along the way as well. At the Feed and Mead, if what you were looking to do was go and play some music, that would probably be closer to dinner time, which is only an hour or two from where you are right now. And you would still have an hour or two before the spot in the Lost Relic opened up at full sundown. So you kind of have a path if you want to just peter your way through.
I'm really adamant about taking this walk and seeing what we can find because
All right.
I just feel like you're not gonna hide her in town.
Yeah, it's small enough. Like we're only.
Because I'm
small
going for a
walking ways.
walk.
Yeah.
Let's
We
do
want
it.
to follow the bird person.
No,
No, they're
We
going
wanna-
the other way.
we want to
They're-
take our walk.
They're headed off to government shit.
Government
Getting
shit.
spy birds.
Magic school shit.
It wasn't a
or-
bald eagle.
It's probably Neva's teacher or some blah blah blah.
Oh.
All right, let's keep walking in the direction that we were walking in. Let's take that walk. Let's go see. Let's go to the fucking woods and be like, "What's up?"
Okay.
I'm
So
on the
okay.
lookout for more parts of books.
are you stopping at the Feed and Mead first, or are you passing the Feed and Mead and going straight to the woods? What are you doing? Iju, what are you doing? Do you want to stop or do you want to keep going?
I mean,
No, I'll keep going.
Okay.
I personally would be like, "Go see if you got a letter, bro. We're here."
Hey,
I mean, we
Horkrid?
were just there last night. Unless that bird guy was the mail person, nobody came. Like,
He could
Orchard?
be the
Maybe
mail person.
it is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Could be the mail.
Because if the
it's a very
answer's
good-
no,
It's a very good point. It could be
If-
the mail.
if the answer's no,
Be the
then we
mail.
keep going. And if the answer's yes, you get your letter and we still keep going, but you can read it on the way.
fair enough.
Okay, this is why she is the mom.
Horkrid.
So as we're walking by that, I'll go, wait here. And then I'll just literally go inside.
Okay.
Come here.
Yeah.
All right,
come here,
what's up,
Horker.
buddy? Yeah.
Here. I put my hand on your head
Uh-huh.
and my thumbs in your forehead, and I say a little vigilant blessing. Don't forget.
Vigilant blessing.
Keep an eye open.
Keep an eye open.
Yeah.
All right.
You get an advantage on initiative.
Hell yeah.
Which is good for a rogue.
Okay. So while you guys are doing that, Iju, you go inside the Feed and Mead?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm going to go over toward the counter where I was the other night and
Yep.
see if my little friend is there.
So yeah, as you enter the Feed and Mead, there are people that are there post lunch, pre dinner, sitting, drinking. You could see some of the tables have food on it, but that is really not your focus at all. You make your way
Yeah.
directly to the back counter, where you are greeted by Bartleby, who's there. Looks over at you and he's like, "Oh, it's good to see you. Hold on, actually, I have something for you."
I'm going to literally just clap like just while he's doing that. Like I'm not even going to acknowledge him. I'm just clapping.
Yeah, you are.
Your timing is impeccable. We actually got some mail late last night, so there was something in there for you. Hold on just one moment. And
Was that the bird guy? We
Oh.
just saw him flying out of town.
oh, you saw Serena. Oh, she's lovely, isn't she?
Oh, bird girl. Sorry. Sorry
Bird
for
person.
gentrifying.
No. Sorry, Rick and Morty snuck in there for a second. So he goes back behind the counter and he pulls up what looks like it is just a small little brown package. It's probably like 3 inches by 3 inches, 3.5 by 3.5, like a perfectly little, like small wooden box with just a piece of string on top and your name like seemingly burnt into the wooden top.
Right.
This is for you. So, you don't own anything on the package. It was paid for entirely, so enjoy.
Thank you. And I'm gonna scoop it up in the counter and turn and scurry out the door.
See you
Speed walk.
later.
Bye. And I just wave, holding it with one hand. And then when I get outside, I'm gonna go. Guess what? There was a package.
There's a package.
You're so smart. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm gonna just sit like I'm right out. Well, maybe a few feet outside the door, but I'm literally gonna sit on the ground.
Okay.
And I'm gonna put the package in my lap like a Christmas present and just
Yeah.
undo the one string.
I literally had it in my brain, you sitting down, legs out on the ground with the package. It's amazing.
Yeah. So it's I picture it slightly larger than like a ring type of box, right? Like a small jewelry box.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's about 3 inches
Yeah,
by
like
3
3 by
inches.
3.
So yeah.
So yeah, I will undo the string carefully so it doesn't like fray or rip or anything like that.
Okay.
And then look for a way to open it. I'm assuming it has like a hinge or something on it.
Yeah, so as soon as you undo the string, the top kind of just is loosely seated there. It's got a bit of a lip so that it nestles in, but the string is really what was kind of holding it shut. There was a small piece of there was a bit of wax on the top kind of sealing the string to the wood itself, but it doesn't take a lot to break it.
Okay. Yeah, in my excitement, I wouldn't even look, I don't think, at the wax to see if it had like an actual seal that I could identify.
Yeah.
I would just kind of be pulling it open. So okay.
So you pop the top off and you take a look inside, and there is a single playing card on the inside of the box. And you could see on the front of the playing card is what looks like a court jester, but the face on it is completely kind of blurred out, and it looks like it's been painted over with a very sort of almost childlike kind of blue and red smiley face. And it says on the back of the card, when you flip the card over on the back of it, it says the company you keep is fine, but their company is not.
Okay. So I wouldn't necessarily be making like an attempt to hide it. Like I'd be looking at it kind of like a jester clown kind of card. And then in the back, when I'm reading the back, I would kind of be mumbling to myself, like not necessarily out loud, but not trying to hide that I'm speaking either.
Okay.
But what I would do is I would take out my other envelope because it's just the playing card in this. And I would look to see if my envelope itself, if I could fold the envelope to put it in the wooden crate, I would do that and keep the little wooden chest. If I can't do that, I would put the card in the envelope with the other letter as well.
You could probably do a little bit of both. You could probably put the card in the envelope and then fold it down small enough to put it in the wooden chest.
Yeah, I just didn't want to like fold it in half, then in half, then in half.
Yeah, no. I mean, you'll have to fold the letter a bit more than what it originally was to fit a 3x3 box. Yeah, but you could get the letter or the card inside of the envelope with the letter and then fold it in half, probably once over and maybe a little bit over the top, to kind of just get into a bit more of a shape that would fit inside the box and keep the lid closed.
Yep.
The only thing to keep in mind is that there is nothing that is now keeping that lid closed. It is just a loose wooden lid.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna, while we're walking to the woods, I'm gonna actually just keep holding it with my two hands. I'm not gonna actually put it away. I'll just hold it.
Do you show it to any of us?
Yeah.
Or are you trying to hide it?
No, I'm not trying to hide it. I wouldn't outwardly show it to you unless you ask because you heard me mumbling or something like that.
But you're holding it in your hands as we're walking, right?
Yeah. I'm not making an attempt to hide it or anything like that. So, like I said, if I was sitting on the ground and you heard me reading the back of the card and asked me, I would tell you that it said, the company you keep is fine, but their company.
You're not hiding it, but you're not sharing it.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Like
Yeah.
I'm kind of just excited in my own way, but now I have a new puzzle myself trying to think about like, Iju is like, like the company you keep is fine. He thinks that you guys are okay, but their company is not. So to me, that means like he doesn't mind you as people, but he doesn't want me to be with you. He wants me to be alone somewhere. Like that kind of thing. That's the way that Iju's interpreting that off the top.
What card is that?
Looks
I'm
like
just
a
asking.
Joker.
Yeah, it looks like
it
a
was
Joker.
little
It's a
Joker
jester.
jester card, but the face was removed and kind of drawn on by like a little kid.
Just to check,
Mhm.
I would like to take out my own personal deck of playing cards and make sure that I have all of my cards, including the fucking Jokers.
Take out your cards and thumb through them.
Do you know how to count that high?
I'm only looking for two
How
cards,
does one
Mom.
count to Joker?
Rolling
Yeah.
for
I'm
I'm
count.
only
roll for
making sure
counting.
there's two cards here.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, no,
Here's
the one of the Jokers from your deck of cards is missing.
Iju, can I see that card real quick?
Yeah, and then I would kind of take the thing all apart that I just folded up and put back in there, and then give it back there or give it over there.
That's like somebody
Maybe-
just swept the floor energy right there.
Maybe don't just put everything away right
Now
after you get
Iju
it.
is even more stumped because he's like, "Is this even meant for me? Like, it's clearly meant for me."
Is it the
But
same
is this my
cards?
message?
Is it the?
Yeah, I don't know. So I would give you over the card.
Okay,
and if
so
we could tell-
Is the back of the card, does it have fucking snails on it?
it does.
That I have clearly crudely drawn over the eyeballs
So
with like other dick drawings
So-
and boobs and shit.
yeah, so you notice that the drawings on the back of the card that you had placed on the rest of your deck are not there. But the same
not-
design, the original design on the back of the card matches. The filigree, the ornamental nature of it matches.
I hand the card back to Iju. Iju, how in the fuck did that man get this card out of my deck?
I don't know. Same as he's been toying with me forever.
I don't like him.
So
He
wait,
took
does this
my card.
does this make
Sorry.
Iju your dad now?
Does, like,
If Iju wants to be my dad, he
Does
is more
does
than
this
welcome.
have anything to do with that kid who stole your cards?
Oh, wait, Sil what? Yeah, and that too.
that's the question. But Iju, do we have a name on this guy that's fucking with you?
My guy's name is Ludor,
Is he a
Ludor.
warlock?
but I mean he is like he's my patron, so like yeah.
Your patron doesn't like the guy that turned me into a child.
Maybe he
might
doesn't like
become-
you.
Maybe he doesn't like me.
Neva.
Maybe he doesn't like Neva, but Neva's a special case. But if your patron does not like the guy that turned me into a child, I might be his friend for a few minutes.
So you think that this is written to me talking about you guys as the company I'm keeping, but the company you're keeping being
Involuntarily.
Gallic is not cool, is what that's how you're translating this?
Yes,
Or
because
Gilak,
Gilak is a sloppy, drunken man who needs to die.
It,
Hmm.
it could just mean anyone that we are
Except that
regularly
these
interacting with.
cards-
It could be Laura or Alara. It could be.
What if this
Neva.
little kid that
Yes!
was invisible is
It could-
Ludor or Gilak? Like it could be either one, and he took your card.
Because these cards are Gilak's cards. I took cards from Gilak.
Oh, so you think if that kid took them, he wouldn't have given them back, right? Because we found him with the fairy fire, and then we made him give everything back.
Yeah.
So
I
it
He
wouldn't
didn't.
make
He had the
sense.
ring from the tailor.
But it could have been Ludor keeping the card to play this joke on me, because it was not there yesterday, but it was here today. I hate this guy.
Me too.
Still, what do you got?
I got nothing. That sounds like a whole teledrama that I can't quite crack.
I love it.
Why does your patron write things like this instead of in a way that makes sense?
Well, that's what these guys do. I don't
That's
know.
dumb.
I
These
wish I
guys
knew,
is like a group.
This is like literally my life
Action.
is solving riddles, and then I get close, and then I become something else and do it all over again.
That's a bullshit.
That is some bullshit.
That's
We
a
will
very
help
good
you
way to put
die.
that.
Once, just one
I
more
don't
time.
like. I don't even like solving one puzzle.
Do you want to die?
Do you wanna die?
Yeah, I know. I know. It's right there. Do you want to die?
But I mean, that makes sense because the other letter he gave me, and I'll pull that out too, says that I'm his to toy with and not somebody else's. So maybe he thinks that Galak is
Okay.
toying with me.
Yeah, so like, see, that makes more sense to me. That's like, we're fine, but because Galak's got his like fingers in you or whatever,
Kind
he's
of
not
like
into that.
Roxy and
Crazy?
Horford.
Excuse me?
For a man of the cloth, your head's in the gutter.
Like the back of a Volkswagen?
So yeah.
Oh my god.
So you were
Goodness.
standing outside of the Feed and Mead, heading into the woods with box in hand, discovering or putting these pieces together. Have you stopped walking at this point? Are you continuing to move forward? Like what are you doing? And if it differs
Continuing.
individually, right? If some of you
No.
are stopped and some of you are moving, that's fine. Just I
I'm
want to
kind of
keep us
like
moving.
mumbling to myself. I would take the card, put it back with my other thing, refold
kinda
it,
wanna
put it
get-
back.
I kind of really want to get back into this wooded area and poke around.
So,
I was
Syl, why did you cast Fairy Fire in that corner when you did? Did we know that somebody was there?
No, I was just screwing around. I thought it would be funny to make a bunch of people glow. I was a bit drunk.
Oh man.
I mean, you're not wrong. That's kind of
Like,
fun.
it's so random that we happen to find that. Like in my head, I'm like, should we try casting it near the cart just to see? Like maybe they're literally hiding in plain sight, but they wouldn't just be sitting there, right? Like,
No, that's the thing. It's like we caught that kid in the act of doing something, which probably even Horkin would have been up to if it wasn't the kid. So the
do you
Okay.
think that was Galak, Horkard? Could that have been Galak?
Mainly?
No, it probably was Ludor. That's what we just said, right? Because Galak wouldn't have given you the cards back. Ludor
All right.
probably would have given you the cards back, but kept one to.
Or could it have just been like an agent of either one?
Right.
Yeah, I haven't looked at my deck in a little while. Not since
Right.
playing Go Fish.
I mean, maybe if we go back to either Neva or tonight at the Lost Relic, we can ask if they have any books on really either of them. We should ask about Galak's covering that we found and if they know anything about Ludor too, because I wouldn't mind reading a little bit of something about him.
If anybody happens to see Malin, help me trap him.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
can-
gonna see
can
him.
do. We can rally that little bastard around.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm assuming
if,
we're getting closer to the woods as we're walking and talking.
Yeah, I would hope.
and yeah, I think that's a good point about tonight too. Like, if we shake down a couple people, we can at least gauge their reaction.
Yeah, based off the names, right? And that seems
Mhm.
like they're going to have a lot of old knowledge there.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, you go drop a couple truth bombs and see who jumps.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I
Well,
like
I
it.
mean, we probably only got an hour or so left in the sunlight here as we're getting to the woods.
Best time of day.
Is that true, Matt?
No, you have a little bit more time than that.
Oh, perfect.
It was only around 3:00 when you first. Yeah, I think it was around 3:00 when you went into the Feed and Mead to get your letter. So, I mean, in actual game time, how much time has passed? Half an
Not a
hour
lot.
as you
Yeah.
continue to walk. So you still have time even before dinner, even before sunset. So you still have time to do what you want to do in the woods, go back to the Feed and Mead for a little bit. If Threadall still wants to try to play and you guys want to do recon there, and then make your way back to the Lost Relic at sundown when things kick off there. So you kind of have this progression in front of you of things you could do to fill that time. So
Yeah, I mean, we're at the woods here. We may as well look around. I also think it's a little weird. Neva's been pretty open with info, but also not like outwardly trying to find us or help us at this point. I don't know if that's weird or not, but he was friendly, but I don't know, it's just a little off.
He
Here's the
probably
thing.
he knows he's doing something shady. He just doesn't know how shady.
That
Guarantee
could
it.
also be true. He could also just be a complacent idiot.
I mean that too.
Oh.
He
Here's
is
the thing.
beautiful, even if he's got no brains.
Yeah, most of the beautiful ones, it's a weird trade-off. But it happens.
I'm really smart though. What?
Mhm.
Beautiful hearts.
Yeah. So the thing about this, we've been to these woods here before, and honestly, like, this town has been plagued. They gotta be. We know that they're coming and going from somewhere. Why wouldn't it be the trees?
Just as a note, you have not been to the woods in this town before. When you were in
Yeah.
the woods, that was in Charles.
Right. It was
It's not
behind
Hallfield.
the
And there's a lady in the woods, and her name is Tala, and maybe we can talk to her, and maybe she knows where there's some fairy circles.
Maybe that's all. Yes, all of the yes.
Okay, so as you continue on your path, you're past the Feed and Mead. You've now passed the Lost Relic, and the road north stops being a road and becomes more of like an unofficial path. Like, you could tell where it's worn down by foot travel, but it's not paved or cobblestoned in any sort of way. Assuming you continue to follow that, the trees start out pretty sparse. You could see grass growing in between them, and as you make it 60 feet, 70 feet in, you could see that the trees begin to get a bit thicker, but again, not to the point where you can't see through them. This isn't like a very dense forest. It's just a dense, or it's just a wooded sort of area that hasn't at all been touched by building materials or the worn down chaos of everyday life. The further in you get, you do come to a small clearing. In the center of the clearing, you see what looks like a very simple kind of thatched roof hut. It's round, not square, almost more like a yurt, with a very kind of you could see it's a thatched roof that's made of reeds and trees and branches, and it is very it seems very kind of natural in its construction. There's no stone to it at all.
In its yurtiness.
You could see a small garden off to one side that looks like it has a variety of plants and what might be some vegetables growing in it. I don't know if there's wild garlic or not. We'll have to figure that out. But there are a bunch of flowers and what looks like vegetables. On the other side, you see what looks like two small benches that are facing what looks like a very crude altar. You can see a bundle of like herbs and flowers that have been tied together with twine that are sitting on top of this sort of crude altar. Part of them looks singed or burnt, as though they were used in some sort of religious ceremony, perhaps, or, you know, as just a general incense. But you don't get a visual on anybody there. It's just this hut, this little garden, this little altar area, these benches, and it is a clearing. It has been, you know, purposefully maintained as a clearing. You could tell that like it hasn't allowed overgrowth in this area.
I'm
This
kind of
is-
catching a vibe. I mean, this stuff seems familiar to my way of life, so just sort of casually move in, I think.
This is awesome. I love this.
Right? It's got a whole hippie commune kind of vibe going on.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it definitely has like a very sort of simplistic, you know, off the ye old
Zen
grid.
garden, there's
Yeah.
a water feature. Let's
Yeah.
go.
I'm gonna walk up to the altar and check out that whole setup.
Yeah, for sure. So, the altar itself, as you approach it, you could see again these two stone benches that are, as you get closer, you could see like the edge of each of the benches has some very kind of delicate, almost like mosaic work that has been inlaid on like the front of it to make it kind of ornate and colorful. You could see chips and pieces of broken stone of a variety of colors that have, you know, haphazardly placed, but seemingly like perfectly placed at the same time. Like there's an unintentional pattern to all of it that just makes sense. The altar itself is really just two larger pieces of stone standing upright with another slab on top. Again, there is this sort of mosaic work that goes around the perimeter of it. You could see this bundle of herbs, like I said. You could see also that there is like fresh smudge from ash that is on top. And behind it, you also see what looks like a small earthenware bowl, like maybe about 2 inches in diameter, with nothing in it at first glance.
Does any of this, do I recognize any of this outright as belonging to a particular religion or group, or is it just like, oh, that's some neat stuff?
Make a religion check for me.
17.
17. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, it sorry. You recognize it. It's obviously very like nature based and harvesty. You would recognize it probably as the Wild Mother in terms of you know, what particular deity it goes to. It has that vibe to it. There's very much like a naturalistic harvest kind of vibe to it. And the little that you know of Tala, like the little that you've gathered of her out here, is that she's kind of like this almost mysterious benefactor to the town that people look up to. And you know, she has like, you know, she has ties into the harvest, stuff like that. So it all kind of jives in that way.
Okay.
I mean, I think actually Syl would probably go up to the altar, and I have a small censer that I carry, and I'll put it out, and I'll put some incense in it, and I'll strike a stone and light it, and I'll actually make a gesture of an offering at this altar, burn some of my own incense in honor of the Wild Mother.
Okay. As you go to burn some of the incense, you're able to light it fairly easily, but the pattern of the smoke is not that natural sort of plume that you would see when you just light something. It almost seems to come alive and take shape as it burns, and it goes up into this sort of inward spiral, and as it like gets bigger, the spiral almost becomes a wave that crests, and as the crest breaks, it kind of goes off into these other smaller spirals, and the smoke is kind of following this pattern, and you could see it linger long enough for the pattern to kind of finish itself before it starts to dissipate and then repeat itself. In that moment, you hear a very sort of soft, gentle voice come from behind you that just says, "Oh, welcome to my altar. Thank you for your offering. Are you here for some prayers?"
Quite possibly.
Assuming you turn around to see the voice, or where
I
it's
was
coming from. Yeah.
I was gonna say before that, like, I was gonna more like look towards the house and stuff, but it's cool. We're
Yeah.
good.
Well, I mean, you look towards the house, and as you look towards the house, you see this large, like easily like 7.5, 8 foot tall female furball, like ducking her way out of the house. Like the doorway itself is too short for her to walk straight in. As she comes out, you could see that her skin is this sort of mottled, like light brown, beige, tan, almost like the bark of a tree, and her hair is this long, almost full body length green hair that kind of like that as it moves, it almost looks like leaves rustling. She's got this very soft kind of features on her face. Her nose is very wide. It's like a wide, flat, almost nose, a little kind of almost bovine in nature. And she kind of like slinks out, and you can see that she's wearing clothes that looks like it's just bits of fabric that have been loosely stitched together to make this kind of ornate kind of gown, almost with big flowy sleeves, as she starts to approach you slowly at the altar. Well, thank you for your offering today. Myself and the Wild Mother welcome you both. You're new here. I don't recognize you, but welcome. All are welcome.
No, it would be our first time.
Well,
Do many of the villagers come out here to offer to the Wild Mother?
I get a handful of visitors out here, but more often than not, I'm called to them, which is fine. That suits me fine. But it is an open space, and all are welcome to come and find peace and solitude and say a prayer if that's what they need. And if they're seeking healing, be it physically or mentally, or just in need of quiet, all are welcome. So, can I get you something to eat or drink, perhaps?
Wouldn't say no.
Just give me one moment. And you see she goes over to her little garden area, and you see her bend over, like she has to get down on her knees because she's just kind of that big. To bend over would be awkward. And you see her pick a handful of things from the garden, and she kind of just places them in the palm of her hand. And as she's holding them in her hand, you could see them almost like begin to desiccate and dry out immediately. And she kind of like crumples them up, and she holds it in her fist, and she goes inside of her house. And when she comes out a moment later, she's holding a small, like, wooden kettle. And you see her, like, sprinkling it inside of the water. And she's got a couple of small stacked wooden cups. And she pours out for you what is essentially like a very kind of herbaceous, minty tea. And she's got some fresh honeycomb, and some fresh berries, fruits, things that looks like she might have picked and grown here herself. And she places them down on one of the stools or one of the benches that's near the altar. And she's like, "Please eat. What brings you here to Allfield?"
Well,
I want to look at everybody.
Did I just come back to what brings you all to Allfield?
Yeah.
I'm gonna just say mushrooms.
Perfect timing.
And mushrooms. That's it. That's the long. That's the short answer.
Mushrooms.
Particular mushrooms, or I mean,
The-
I grow some myself.
I think you know the particular mushrooms we are probably talking about.
Oh, the problematic ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
To say the least.
They are a bit of an aberration, and I've done as best I can to keep them out of this area, at least.
Yeah, the best that we can surmise is that it's some sort of invasion from the Fey realm.
You would be correct in that conclusion. They are a bit of an invasive species, and
It's a light term for it.
they are most certainly not welcome.
Yeah, it's just hard to figure out if this is just some overpowered Fey taking the piss or some kind of actual problem.
Sorry, very quickly.
No.
Do we need to take a short break? Do we need a little
Nope.
window?
Not anymore.
Oh, we're good. Okay.
Oh,
I
we're good.
could use a quick break actually.
Oh.
Okay.
I could just
Yeah.
take like 5 minutes.
You know what? Sorry, I know we're in the middle of something, but I could tell that we need. So let's just take a quick 5-minute break. We'll be right back. All right. Sorry about that, but we are back. So, you were in the midst of your conversation with Tala. I'm sorry, Sil. I think you were asking her a question, or like in the midst of a question when we bounced. I apologize for that.
I don't think I.
No. Okay. So
We were just talking about
right.
mushrooms.
So she had told you that the mushrooms were an invasive species, that they clearly weren't welcome here, that she's been doing everything in her power to keep them clear from her clearing, pretty much.
And then he said it's hard to tell if it's just some fae basically having fun or if it's a serious thing.
Yeah. So to that she replies, well, it's a bit of both, actually. I mean, I don't know how much you know about them, but they are native to parts of the Feywild, although mostly to the outskirts of where any sense of civilization might be. And typically they're contained, although someone has clearly brought them here with an intent to sow a bit of unrest. And if they are not kept in check, they will continue to grow and multiply, as most invasive species do. And unfortunately, the material plane is not as equipped to deal with their randomness as well as parts of the Fae are. They're controlled a bit more there, but here they're left unchecked and clearly problematic.
They're not controlled that much. That's how I got here.
Well, again, in the wrong hands, with ill intent or malintent, I suppose anything can be abused.
Yeah, that seems to be
Laser raptors.
There definitely
What's a
seems to
laser?
be someone or something behind it. For sure.
I would say that's probably likely. I don't think they just ended up here on their own, so.
No, I wonder why.
Having grown up in parts of the Feywild myself, there are some there that are not as content to keep the image of peace and simplicity that some people associate with the realm.
So you think it's just radicalism?
Probably a bit of radicalism mixed with a bit of revenge.
Revenge for what?
The Archfey and members of the Sealy Court are a bit controlling in their ways, and they like to be the end-all and be-all of all that happens in the wilds. And when someone goes against the grain, if they're excommunicated or tossed out of that court, it tends to go poorly.
Do you have any idea who it might be?
Well, the number of disgruntled archfey that have been removed from the court over the years is probably too numerous to count on the small handful of fingers that I have, but there are a few, probably in more recent history, that have been that could be responsible for it.
What if we run a few names by you and cross-check?
It seems like you're really well versed in all of this, so I take it you haven't just stumbled upon these. You're working to eradicate them, or?
My favorite part about all this is that I'm from there and I have no idea what any of these is.
It's been so long since I've been there.
She looks
I mean,
over,
She
she looks over at you, Squally, and she's like, I mean, You're from there, but you're not really from there.
I've been there as long as I can remember, though. You think I would have picked something up by now?
But it's always the time before we remember. That's the hardest to pinpoint.
I have a lot of those times.
That's a point. That's a point.
You, my friend, have lived more lives than I have lived, and I'm over 400 years old, so... Anyway,
Wow.
sorry.
You don't look a day over like 200.
You look wonderful
Turn
your,
down
for
the
your age,
flattery
man.
there.
You had
Hey,
names.
for the first time, I'm not actually hitting on anyone, okay?
Whole lots of assumptions.
There's a bit of an age
going
gap
on
there.
Right now.
You had some names that you wanted to run by me?
Oh yeah, maybe some. Let me find him. Maybe a fellow by the name of Puck.
She kind of just chuckles. A good candidate.
A green Jack, maybe.
Interesting.
Artagan.
She just kind of sighs at that name.
Or a Randall are names that have crossed our path so far.
Rendell, right?
Yeah, I picked up. Yeah.
Randall.
Yeah, but I still just want to say it.
Randall.
I mean, to be quite honest with you, Puck has very little need to mess with people on the material plane. He likes to spread his chaos around the wilds itself. And Rindle hasn't been heard of or from in quite some time. But Artagan and Green Jack, that's a bit interesting. Artagan's been known to walk between the two planes pretty freely. Sometimes I think he spends more time here than he spends there, if I'm being completely honest with you. And Green Jack, probably one of the newest members to be excommunicated from the Sealy Court. And him and Artagan don't see eye to eye. So, if I had to pick, those two are possibly, the most likely out of that group you've mentioned. It makes me wonder.
Possibly the most likely. I like our odds.
Which one has red hair?
Oh, well, that would be Artagan. It's hard to miss. You normally see his hair before you see his face, if you see his face at all.
Wait a minute.
I
so
didn't,
that's a big
but I heard
dinner
his
bell
voice.
ring right there. We've
Yeah.
seen this guy, perhaps.
Yeah, I saw him in the woods in Trostenwald. He was a condescending dick and then disappeared.
Did you say he's condescending? Like, what did he say to you?
Oh no. In that particular tone.
It's like 2 words. Okay.
Again,
I mean, it sounded kind
Well,
of condescending the way she said it.
he spends more time here than I think back in the Feywild, so I wouldn't be surprised if you ran into him somewhere. I will say though, he has taken quite a liking to this plane. I think he thinks himself a god, but that's really just uneducated people not understanding who he is.
Yeah.
People
Alright,
started
well, I mean-
worshipping him?
What motivation would he have to sow discord on this plane by introducing an invasive species?
Truthfully, I don't think that he would. He tends to be a bit more protective of this plane. Like I said, he's grown to like it here. So, if he is involved, I would say he's probably more interested in getting rid of them than keeping them around.
Curious.
Maybe the oh no was about the mushrooms, like that he saw, and he wasn't actually using them to travel back and forth.
Or maybe he was like looking at them and trying to do something and then was like, I'm not dealing with other people right now.
Yeah.
Maybe he saw
there's
Gilax
two
magic and said,
Archfey
"Fuck it."
involved.
Oh, goody.
There's no rule
Oh.
saying this is only one.
Oh, 2 would be awful.
I'm sorry,
mean,
2 what?
one.
I missed that.
It's,
I said there's no reason that
Dude.
he's the only archfey involved in
Oh.
Two
this.
Archfey. One trying to fix the problems that the other one laid on us.
Oh God.
Great.
or at least
Yeah,
a little
we
bit
might-
pissy about it. That could
Yeah.
Just
Or
get
maybe-
Clovis caught in the middle of their little
Not
spat.
protecting us, but just protecting his space, you know?
That's a fun hypothetical.
Everything's hypothetical right now.
What about
I'm
the
not here to tell happy stories.
names of Gilak or Ludor? You heard of them before?
Those I am not familiar with. I apologize.
How about Alara? Does Alara ever come hang out with you?
Oh, Alara is the sweetest. Haven't seen her in a spell, though.
Yeah, that seems to be going around.
We found her in the woods, like between here and Trostimwald, and we kind of escorted her back. She kept losing her memory, and I think we think it has something to do with the mushrooms. We don't know, but we brought her back, and we all settled in, and now we can't find her.
Well, that is a bit disconcerting.
That's
Little
what
bit.
I said.
Hmm.
Ah.
And her cart got tossed.
Hopefully, Alara has not found herself mixed up in all of this. I'd hate to think of her sandwiched firmly between the battle of two Fae.
I mean,
She's...
when you put it that way, it sounds kind of hot. But
she's-
No, that's not my worst night ever.
Mom, keep it in your pants.
Everything
I'm
is well
sorry.
secured in my pants. All right.
I'm glad it's secured.
Huh.
Mine's just kind of flopping around because these pants are a little too big.
I will.
Huh.
I will
And I'm
keep
gonna
her in my thoughts, and I will see if I can get a pinpoint on her.
You can do that? Can you do that?
I
that
can.
sounds cool.
How long would it take you?
I mean, if you give me maybe a half an hour, I could try.
I have a half hour.
Oh, yeah,
I'll give you an hour if that's what you need.
Let's do that.
I just need a few things.
How
What do
can
you
I
need?
help?
Hold on one moment. And she
If
gets up
it's
from
this
where she
morning's
was.
breakfast,
Do you need a
it's
lock of
bag.
do you need a lock of beautiful hair? Because I have that.
Do you need a potion she made?
I
I
have
am-
music.
I am fortunate enough that I have some things that belong to her, so just give me a moment. And she kind of walks back towards her hut. You see her duck inside of the hut. She comes back out a few moments later with just another small ceramic pot that looks like it's firmly corked shut. She kind of has this big sort of kind of ornate looking pillow in her hand as well. She places it down on the ground, and she takes the small ceramic pot or jar that she has. She uncorks it, and you see she dips just one of her fingers because it barely fits into the pot, and she pulls out what looks like some sort of salve on the end of it and rubs it on both of her hands. And just give me a few moments if you don't mind. And also keep an eye out for me.
Guidance.
Keep an eye out
Oh,
for what?
okay.
I mean, just it's always good to when you're doing rituals to
Yeah. Yeah,
have a perimeter.
yeah, make sure no one bothers her or interrupts her. Hold on.
While we're looking out too, I'm gonna reach over to Horkrin, tap him on the shoulder, and say, "Hey, those cards, they technically belong to Galak, right?
Yeah.
So if all she needs is something that belongs to somebody to try to track him down, maybe we give her one of these cards that belongs to Galak, and she can tell us where he is."
I'd give up the other Joker in my deck.
Hot take.
Mm-hmm.
Do you even have to? Because you have the other Joker now. It's just his Joker.
Right. I don't know if that's like a loophole where they're gonna say no, that's yours. But if they're his and he's trying to get them back,
Well,
maybe she
they're
can track 'em
originally
down.
his.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't know. It might not work that way, but she said she was fortunate enough to have heard some stuff from Alora. So maybe we can make it work.
Yeah. We gotta ask
Just
her
a
about
thought.
Malin too.
So, you see her.
I bet we don't.
You see her go to sit down on this.
I
What's it called? On the pillow. She rubs this salve on both of her hands. You could see that after she's done, she recorks it and she's holding it like tightly in her hands. All of you make a perception check for me.
Yeah, I was about to be like, perception check.
Yeah. Because I assume you're all watching her pretty intently in this moment. So.
Yes.
Well, except for, no, I was watching the
Oh, you're
perimeter.
watching the perimeter? Okay.
I
Yeah.
definitely am not. I'm
I
talking
was
to
so
Horton.
close to a 20.
Except for Syl, who was apparently doing nothing.
He
Okay.
was trying to overhear me trying to whisper to Horton. I rolled a 7. So.
7, okay.
Roll a 6.
Hold on.
6.
7.
Hold on. I'm gonna because we are currently
Yeah.
with a Frobog, I'm gonna channel Caduceus.
There you go.
It's a 17.
Okay.
God damn it.
No,
Better
that's
than
okay.
us.
17's not bad. So, all right. So, just at a quick glance, you notice that the small pot that she's holding with the cork in it, it looks very similar to some of the salves that Alara had in her cart. So this is something that probably was hers, her creation, or something that she made and perhaps traded or gave to Tala at a previous meeting. Okay. She closes both of her eyes tightly, and you could hear her just kind of like almost like just humming under her breath in this very like monotone, almost like very kind of vibration-y sort of and she's like, oh, okay, well, I mean, she's in town. Well,
Where?
she's at the relic,
Relic?
but I don't recognize who she's with.
What do they look like?
Tall, dark hair, in kind of a bun up top. Long leather coat. Definitely human looking, but something seems off. She looks confused. Oh, I lost it. I lost her. Well, she's at the relic. I mean, we know that much.
Well,
Was she awake?
chop.
She
And
was.
she's confused.
She was,
Yeah.
but she seemed like she didn't know where she was.
But I mean, she was like that when we found her. They could have just given her another mushroom or two.
Yeah, or whatever.
Yeah.
All right. See, it's the relic. I knew it was the relic. I knew it because I wanted to go there and have fun, and I'm not going to be able to have fun because now I'm going to have to kill people.
I'll
can do
help you, Mom.
both.
Don't worry.
I assume you're going to find her.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to find her.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Hey, does that trick you just did work with just something that's owned by somebody? If we give you something that's owned by somebody else, could you tell us if they're also there?
I could try.
So I'll look over to Horkran and say, maybe try giving her one of the cards.
All right.
Why
I
don't you
got
give
it.
her the letter?
Well, that belongs to me now. That was from Ludor to me.
Ludor took
Okay,
it from me.
Fair point.
Anyway,
But
Paul.
they're Galax, though.
I'm gonna get this Joker. All right, here's
Galactic
Here's-
Ludor.
a Joker from a deck of cards that at one point belonged to a warlock named Gilak.
Okay. Okay, hold on. And you see she takes the card and she holds it in both of her hands. And she like holds it up to her nose and she takes like a big sniff of it. And she goes into that same sort of like humming vibration that she was doing before. She's like,
I'm still looking around.
I'm sorry, I'm getting resistance.
Like the same one that just cut you off, maybe? I mean,
No,
it's
this
possible.
is different. They're whatever it is pushing back
Okay.
and hard.
Oh no,
Okay.
no, no, no,
No,
no, no,
don't-
no, no.
No. You see, she like just lets the card go and fall. She's like, I don't know who that person is, but they didn't want me there. That's for sure.
I was about to take
Yeah.
that pop out of your hands.
Sorry. We might have just
Sorry
pissed him
about
off
that.
more.
Well, I hope he doesn't.
Maybe Ludor will think that's fun though. Maybe next time he mouths me, we'll see.
If we
You
piss
get a
him off,
Yeah.
he'll
Gilak
just die
attack.
angry.
I
She she looks
Go ahead.
over at all of you and she's like, I have a splitting headache now.
yeah, I know.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
I
Thank you
know,
for
it
helping
was
us
too
find
much.
Alara.
If you find Alara, bring her back here. Perhaps I can try to fix whatever ails her.
Do you have anything that can like help us? Anything at all?
Um,
I'm sorry to ask you right after they gave you a migraine.
no.
I'm sorry.
uh,
I didn't know Gilak would be an asshole to her too.
I'll be honest with you. I'm a bit thrown right now, but hold on one moment. And she goes inside of her hut, and she comes back out and she's like, I mean, this might help, but unfortunately I only have one. But it'll make one of you invisible for at least a little bit of time. It's a potion of invisibility.
All right, awesome. Thank you. Do you need any? Can I pay you back for it?
No,
Or
no. Consider it prepayment for bringing back a friend.
Yeah, which we need to do by getting there now.
yeah,
Yes,
Yeah.
yep. We're gonna go.
let's do this.
Thank you so much. Go get some rest, and the next time you see us, we're gonna have Alara in tow. Okay?
Sounds great. And you see she goes over to her garden and she
Bye.
starts picking a couple of things from her garden.
Bye.
And like
I'm so keyed in on whatever. He just says hi and bye.
Hey, Starflack, what's going on? So you see her like grab some stuff from her garden as you're walking away, and you see her like walk back into her hut and disappear. And I think that's actually probably where we'll break for tonight, because that's a good like clean spot.
Yep.
And then we can pick back up next week right in this moment.
All
Yeah?
right.
Yes.
Monday again, right?
Yes, Monday again next week if that works for everybody.
Yeah.
Excellent.
We're good for Mondays for March, right? So at least 2 more.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yay.
Yay.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. I'm just looking
Yay.
at my schedule. Yeah, actually, yeah. So the 7th I won't be here, so we might have to figure something else out that week. But we'll get there when we get there. Thank you all for being here tonight. For those of you who missed last week's episode and you can't find it on Twitch, please go over to YouTube because that's where it is. For some reason, Twitch wouldn't let me upload it and kind of is giving me a hard time about it. But it is on the YouTube channel, so if you just search for Roll For It on YouTube, you will find it there. Thank you again for being here with us tonight. Don't forget to call your mom. Know that we love you, and we'll see you again soon. Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.
Adios.